I think I would have loved to see Tom Brady play in the era that we did. At that time, I don't think quarterbacks, they were protected as much, but you cannot, you cannot deny that he's one of the greatest.
Quarterback. Do you say anything to him? Do you say, I'm coming back?
No, because, some quarterbacks feed off of that stuff.
I know that. Oh, you mean now?
Tom Brady,
hear that.
Tom Brady, if you start talking trash to him, he'll put 21 up on you fast.
Is there a GOAT in the NFL? Was it you? Has Brady replaced you?
As it stands right now, it's pretty hard to argue against anyone but Tom Brady being the undisputed greatest of all time. That's what 7 Super Bowl rings, 3 MVPs, and countless NFL records will do for you. But what made him so special? Well, to understand that, we need to speak to the many other greats who have conquered this sport. Only they truly understand what it takes to win at such a high level and what it was that helped set Tom Brady apart. And in today's video, we're going to go over different times that players, coaches, and even analysts spoke about how much of a monster Tom Brady was when he was playing them, as well as even reveal what Ray Lewis said about Tom Brady and having to go up head to head against him when they were playing. Because this is how NFL legends thought Tom Brady was an absolute monster. Now, as we all know, Tom Brady's journey to dominance began in 2000 as he was a 6th-round draft pick by the New England Patriots. As a 4th-string quarterback with no desirable physical traits, his spot on the roster was widely regarded as a long shot. The upside case was to make it as a career backup. The downside case, which appeared far more likely, was for young Tom Brady to be nothing more than practice squad fodder.
This skinny beanpole of a young man walked over to me and said, "Hi, Mr. Kraft, I want to introduce myself. I'm Tom Brady." I said, "I know who you are. You're our 6th-round draft choice." And I always remember he looked me like a laser eye to eye, and he said, "It's right, and I'm the best decision this organization has ever made."
Instead, he won the backup job as a rookie and was leading the team to a Super Bowl victory just 1 year later. When 2 more Super Bowl victories arrived in 2003 and 2004, it was pretty clear a dynasty was underway, culminating in a 23-year career that yielded 89,214 yards and 649 touchdowns, which are both NFL records. And really the craziest part about this just 2-decade-long statistical explosion was that there was rarely ever a dip in his individual or even in the team performance. Like, it didn't really matter. Brady was a beast year in and year out, and peers recognized it. Brady's first time on top of the NFL's inaugural Top 100 list, selected by players, came after the 2010 season. This was Brady's age 33 season, and nothing sums up his rare quality more than the fact that he earned the top spot again over a decade later for his 2021 season, aged at 44. It didn't matter whether he was 24, 34, or 44. Tom Brady was a winner, but nobody saw it coming.
He's not the biggest. He was never the strongest. He was never the fastest. He was overlooked. He went in the 6th round. So with that being said, all of the intangibles that a quarterback's supposed to have, they overlooked with him because it was burning from the inside of him.
As a Baltimore Raven draftee in 1996, Ray Lewis had plenty of battles with Tom Brady's New England Patriots as 2 of the dominant forces in the AFC.
Brady, it's a chess match. What? Yeah. What?
Lewis made a living from being the most terrifying physical force on the field. There was little doubt about how he was going to make his mark when he was drafted in the 1st round in 1996. For Tom Brady, though, not so much. His infamous draft day photo has done the rounds plenty since the 2000 NFL Combine. A combination of a 5-second 40-yard dash, a 24.5-inch vertical, average arm strength, and his lackluster physical build meant that scouts weren't lining up to speak to the Michigan quarterback. But as Ray Lewis said, this guy was so much more than what you could see in an unflattering photo and on a spreadsheet. I mean, first and foremost, Tom Brady was probably the sharpest guy when he walked into most rooms. Another legendary Baltimore defender, Ed Reed, spoke to Talk of Fame about the mental challenge they faced when going up against Brady.
Is it as much a mental game as a physical game when you played those guys? Because there seemed to be like a chess match almost going on the whole day between you and Brady.
It was both. It was both because you could easily get caught up in the swinging and have Brady run 41 plays at you, in the first half. We had games like that. He's like, you played a half a game already, more than a half a game, when you played against those guys. So it wasn't as much, it was just as much as mental as it was physical when you're playing against those guys.
He was then asked if he and his teammates ever succeeded in getting into the quarterback's head.
Yeah, but you think you got in his head?
Yeah, a little bit, but Brady's that's the reason why we talk about him being one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, because the matchups and what he did against us and how they won. We might have did some great things, but he moved the football. It was always a physical and mental matchup going against him, man. You got to love that.
And really, I think this is one of the many reasons on why Brady was able to play into his late 40s. He could quickly and easily decipher what the defense was going to do and figure out what the best solution was. Then when he knew where he wanted to go with the ball, his accuracy was also second to none. And I'm not just talking about his ability to find a receiver. I'm talking about how he always had truly elite ball placement as well, putting it in the exact right spot to make life easy as possible for his teammate and as hard as possible for the defender. Nobody knows this better than Darrelle Revis, who won a Super Bowl with Brady in 2014, but also went up against him as a division rival with the New York Jets.
The crazy thing about it is his accuracy. His accuracy of where he throws the ball, where as a defender, you can't get it sometimes. You think you hear a position, but then he's throwing it like right there, and Wes is like actually catching it like an inch away from the ground.
Brady's combination of elite football IQ, also how he executed his responsibilities as a leader, because nobody worked harder or sought perfection more than Tom Brady. And don't just take my word for it. Ask Bill Belichick.
Look. After every game, Tom always was, we left a lot of points on the field. We can be better. We might win by 30, and it'd be like, we could have won by another 20. I missed this pass. We missed that play. He's always striving for perfection. And think about Tom, you think about improvement. That's really what football is about. You play once a week. You got 6 days to prepare, 6 days to improve and get ready for the game. Tom Brady was a fourth-string quarterback. Who has a fourth-string quarterback? And ended up being the greatest player, of all time. And so that's a lot of work, that's a lot of dedication, and that's a lot of commitment and discipline. So, he's really the poster boy for improvement and consistency.
Obviously, this kind of relentless work ethic rubbed off on his teammates as well, even great ones such as cornerback Stephon Gilmore.
One thing I remember is the work ethic, him coming to work every day and pushing himself no matter how great he is, he still pushed himself and wanted to be great each and every day, and it rubbed off on everybody, rubbed off on me, so I'm just happy to be a part of it.
Brady really did embody the Patriot way, driving New England to one of the greatest dynasties we have ever seen across any sport. And that's the thing about him too, nobody was ever going to get an easy ride. You had to earn Tom Brady's respect in your spot on that team. But at the same time too, if you wanted to be great, Brady would do anything and everything in his willpower to make sure he got his team across the line. One player who underwent that journey to greatness under Brady's leadership was Rob Gronkowski, who is a lock to make the Hall of Fame when he is eligible in 2027. Gronk caught more touchdowns from Brady than any other pass catcher on the Patriots or Bucks with 105, but it took him some time to get into the lineup, and Tom did not go easy on him.
What was Tom Brady like through these growing pains your rookie year?
He was an athlete.
And two, the ability to elevate players around you is the ultimate thing you have as a quarterback that you can do for your team. As a quarterback, you are the single most important player on the team, and your ability to improve the output of everyone around you is what leads to Super Bowl glory and a legacy like Brady's. He was able to do that through every stage of his career, putting people in a position to succeed and helping them.
The greatest to ever lace them up at a quarterback position.
Oh, okay.
When you look at everything that Tom has accomplished, in his career, I think the defining moment for me as a fan was that Super Bowl comeback last year when everybody thought it was over.
Literally
For him to be able to bring his team back, Tom Brady, greatest of all time. The hell with regular season. How about all the victories? You got my vote. Number one man, greatest quarterback of all time, hands down, Tom Brady.
Patriots' famous 28-3 comeback victory over the Atlanta Falcons. That single game was a perfect summation of everything that makes Brady great, refusing to be counted out before coming back and destroying the Falcons with his relentless competitive spirit, football IQ, and clinical accuracy. That was arguably the single greatest comeback performance in sporting history, and again, it was all because of Tom Brady. Michael Irvin, another Hall of Fame wide receiver, also saw that game as the confirmation of Tom Brady's greatest of all time status.
I always say this, I mention men on distance travel. When you saw that body, there's no way you saw 6 championships in that body. You didn't see much of anything in that body. But for him to produce what he has produced and play at the level he has played at, it's incredible. It's incredible. All of us living should understand how blessed we are to be in this moment while he's doing what he's doing. And the answer is, I say yes to comparing him to Jordan in this sense. And I think what he's accomplished is much more difficult. You're talking about a whole bunch of more people that you have to stay in line with and stay adhered to get to win championships in football than you do in basketball. That's why LeBron James is going to 8-7 straight, because one player can almost get you there. In basketball, doesn't work that way in football.
It's that all-around package of skill and leadership that made Tom Brady so special. He not only dominated on the field, but also proved capable of piloting a locker room full of different ages and personalities better than anyone else in the history of the game. When you combine that with his freakish competitiveness, you get a career that is hard to imagine will ever be beaten or ever repeated. Upon his retirement too, Hall of Fame quarterback Peyton Manning summed it up best. He said, "Congratulations to my friend Tom on an unbelievable football career. To do it as long as he did at the highest of levels is absolutely incredible. It was an honor and a privilege to compete against him on the field, and I truly appreciate his friendship off of the field. I've always admired and respected his competitiveness, his dedication, his discipline, and his commitment to being the best. I wish him all the best in the next chapter. Congratulations again, pal." And truthfully, it doesn't get much better than that, right?